Hi everyone, welcome to the weekly review of my M1 Finance dividend portfolio. Balance on the account is $122,297.22. Let's go ahead and look at the performance for the past week. It was a phenomenal market performance this past week. As you see, the portfolio was up 1.46% or $1,761.57. If we look at my holdings, SCHD was up 1.04% or $675.91. Thank you, SCHD. VOO, oh my goodness. It was up almost 2% at 1.95% or $1,085.66. So I continue to say this, I'm just so happy with VOO and SCHD. Very, very happy. And I'm not just saying that because they had a green week, because they've had red weeks as well. But I just think they're two very, very solid ETFs and have the proven track record to support that statement, and no complaints about these two ETFs. Let's go ahead and look at the deposits for the past week. So this past week, there wasn't really much money. So on March 18th, I put in $275. It all went to VOO and I got 0.57 shares. And that's it. I just put in $275 for the week. I wasn't able to find any additional money to invest, which is totally fine. Investing is more about being consistent than the dollar amount. I would never be dishonest and say, of course, dollar amount doesn't matter, but I do think it's important to just keep on investing regardless of how much money you have to put in. Even if it's only $5, $10, $15, put something in so you start building that muscle of consistently investing every single week. So yes, $275. That's what I was able to find this past week. And I know to some folks it might seem $275 is a lot of money, and I'm not downplaying it at all. It is. But I think for me, because I do invest more aggressively, it can sometimes feel like $275 is a very low amount and that I'm not investing as much as I can or that I wish I could, because if I could put more money, if there was actual more money for me to invest, I would. But I'm also not trying to become a nutty finance person where my sense of reality is so warped where I think $275 is like a low amount of money to invest. So I'm always trying to tether myself back to reality and acknowledge that $275, that is a decent amount of money to put in a week towards investing. So that's a little kind of thought process on the one deposit for this past week, but I am proud that I stayed consistent and put in some money. Now, if we just go ahead and look at the recap, something happened to me this week that has never happened before in terms of my investing, and I'll talk you through it. So as you see here, I started the week at $120,260.66. I just had the one deposit of $275. And then the market gain of $1,761.57. So what happened for the first time for me is that I realized what I put in cash is actually significantly below the gain in the market. In all of my previous videos, I've always felt like my cash flow, so the money I deposit every week, was either at the same level as the growth for that week, sometimes even higher than the growth for that week, or maybe it might be slightly, when I say slightly, I'm talking like $50 less than the growth for that week. So I always felt like my deposits was a big reason why my portfolio was growing. But this week, because the difference between what I put in and the gains in the market is so drastically different, I felt, wow, my portfolio is working for me. Right? Like, this is the first time I felt like, oh, I just put in $275, but I had a gain of $1,700. That's a pretty significant gain compared to what I put in for the week. Now I understand that's all going off of the total balance of the portfolio, but this felt really good to see that, okay, the portfolio is now kind of doing overdrive and working much harder for you than any amount of money you could have put in, or the amount of money you put in that week. So that feels really, really, really awesome, because I do think, because overall my cost basis, or the funds that I put into this portfolio, is so significant compared to the growth. I always felt like it's really my deposits why the portfolio is growing. But for this week in particular, it's definitely 100% because of the growth in the market why the portfolio balance jumped from 120 to 122. Because if you just look at my deposit, the portfolio balance would have been 120, 500 and something dollars. Like, I would still be in the 120, but it's the gains that really pushed it into new heights and bringing it into the 122,000 range. So this is awesome, because again, I've never experienced this before yet with my portfolio, but it's making me feel encouraged that like we're going down the right track in terms of, hopefully, one day my contributions to the portfolio would be significantly less than the actual gains in the portfolio. Hopefully that makes sense. All right, so if we just go back to the main page here, right now there's no upcoming deposits because I don't have any money to deposit for next week, but I will at least try to find $25 to invest for next week at a bare minimum. And if we look at the holdings, you would see here, so kind of going back to the point where I talk about why this week was just so mind-blowing for me, is because if you look at the cost basis of my portfolio, that's the money I put in. So I've put in of my own funds, my own money, $113,000 into this portfolio. And my overall gains, it's only $9,000. So I think in my mind, when I look at this portfolio, I think, well, the only reason why it's at 122 is because of the money I put in, right? Because the gains are minimal. Yes, overall it's 8.2%, which is good. It's decent, but really it's the money I put in why this portfolio is at the balance that it is. So, when you kind of run simulations around, if you have a certain amount of money invested and you leave it there for 25 years, it shows that, like the growth is like 3, 4, 5 times the amount that you put in. So I think, because for me here, it doesn't look that way, right? Like it's my money. Why the portfolio is at the balance that it is. Just this past week, just that stark difference was like really encouraging for me to like see that, maybe one day I'm going to look at this page and, my cost basis is going to be 200,000, but the balance on the portfolio is going to be 500,000, right? So I'm really looking forward to that switch in terms of most of the portfolio balance being gains than actually being of money that I put in. Anyway, so overall portfolio is up 8.2%, or $9,269.07. SCHD is up 7.29% overall, or $4,447.80. And VU is up 9.26%, or $4,821.27. So very, very happy with the portfolio. I'm just going to keep on investing as best as I can whenever I find money. Okay, thanks for watching. I'll catch you next week. Bye.